Welcome back to the show where history's worst atrocities meet the thrill of the scoreboard. That's right, it's time for How Low Can You Go? Tonight, we're taking another look at the world's most committed competitors in the fine art of mass murder. These are the heavyweights, the ones who took going too far as a personal challenge. Let's check the rankings. 5th place, Holodomor, Stalin's signature famine special. Between 11% and 23% of Ukrainians starved to death under the weight of Soviet agricultural reform. An estimated 3.5 to 7 million Ukrainians massacred. A solid effort, but not quite enough to climb higher. 4th place, Cambodian genocide, Cambodia under Pol Pot. A self-inflicted culling of 21% to 25% of the population. An estimated 1.7 to 2 million Cambodians. Brutal efficiency, but still only 4th place. 3rd place, the Holocaust. The Nazis went full industrial-scale genocide, wiping out 37.5% of the global Jewish population. Over 6 million Jews were slaughtered. Logistics, bureaucracy, gas chambers, the whole package. A terrifying benchmark, yet still not at the top. 2nd place, Armenian genocide. The Ottoman Empire went all in, managing to eliminate about 75% of the Armenians within their borders. An estimated 1.5 million Armenians perished. A determined performance, but not quite gold medal material. 1st place, the Rwandan genocide. And here's our reigning champion. Rwanda in 1994, where up to 91% of the Tutsi population, where 800,000 to 1 million were savagely butchered with machetes in just 100 days. That's next-level commitment, kids. An absolutely dominant performance in the field of ethnic cleansing. But folks, we've got a new player on the board. A team that's been putting in some serious work. That's right. Let's give it up for our latest contestant, Team Israel. Now let's look at those all-important numbers. Gaza's got a population of about 2.2 million people. So far, Israel has racked up a kill count of around 50,000 civilians. That's about 2.27% of the total population. A solid start, but let's see how that stacks up against our leaderboard. Oh dear, that's awkward. It seems like Team Israel has stalled out before reaching the top 5. Looks like they've hit Trump's wall before making it onto the leaderboard of shame. Now, I know what you're thinking, 2.27%? That's barely even breaking a sweat. They're not making it to the leaderboard now, and you'd be right. So let's see how much further they'd need to go to truly cement themselves among the greats. To match the Holocaust at 37.5% and make it into 3rd place, Israel would need to kill 825,000 more Palestinians, current progress 50,000 killed. Additional deaths needed 775,000 more. That's a steep climb, folks. At the current pace, they'd need to dramatically ramp up operations to really compete with the pros. Perhaps some strategic bombing, maybe a tactical oops, we hit a hospital again. Plenty of options on the table.
Look, we just need to, create the right conditions to make this happen, okay? Maybe push into another area. Or, I don't know, escalate the conflict a bit more, draw in some other regions desiring reconstruction.
Of course, no one wants to just give up halfway. So the big question is, what's next? How can Israel keep their momentum going? Well, spring is right around the corner, and what better time for a fresh new offensive than a little trip into the West Bank? Maybe a return to Gaza to search for the bodies of the never-coming-back prisoners. Could an expanded campaign be the revival they need to push back onto the leaderboard? Could the new alliance with the wicked witches of Washington be the key to unlock the Middle East? That's right, folks. We're keeping an eye on this one. Because in the world of how low can you go, the game is never truly over, just paused for PR reasons. Before we wrap up tonight's show, let's take a moment to talk about numbers, specifically percentages. Because when you hear 50,000 killed, it sounds like a lot. But when you hear 2% of the population, suddenly people start looking. Funny how that works, isn't it? Now let's imagine for a second that instead of Gaza, these numbers applied to your country. Would 2% still sound acceptable if it were your friends, your family, your entire town wiped out? Let's do the maths. United Kingdom population 67 million. 2% equals 1.34 million people dead. That's every person in Birmingham gone. United States population 334 million. 2% equals 6.68 million people dead. That's wiping out the entire state of Massachusetts twice. India population 1.38 billion. 2% equals 27.6 million people dead. That's every person in Delhi and Mumbai combined. China, population 1.41 billion. 2% equals 28 million people dead. That's Shanghai, Beijing, and another major city wiped off the map. Denmark, population 6 million. 2% equals 120,000 people dead. That's wiping out everyone in Aarhus. Ireland, population 5 million. 2% equals 100,000 people dead. That's the whole of Galway, gone. But, of course, when it happens somewhere else, when it's not your city, your neighbours, or your children, well, then it's just a number. A small percentage. Nothing to get worked up over, right? Let's be honest, this isn't a new trick. Mass killings happen, people complain, and then, eventually, everyone just moves on. It happened before, and it'll happen again. And if history has taught us anything, it's that you can get away with a hell of a lot as long as you let time do the PR work. The Rwandan genocide, 1994, never again, we said. The Holocaust, 1941 to 1945, never again, we said. The Armenian genocide, 1915, never again, actually some people still deny this one. What's the pattern here? Never again actually just means never again, until we forget about it. Let's put this in perspective. Imagine one day some higher power, maybe a government, maybe a foreign military, decides that 2% of your population needs to go, for security reasons, for defensive measures, or just because they can. Well, 2% isn't that bad. I mean, it's a small number when you think about it. Besides, they had it coming. It's a tough world out there. Let's just make sure the PR spin is solid. Use words like targeted and precision. That'll keep the headlines tidy. If that scenario sounds horrific, congratulations, you're still human. If it doesn't bother you, congratulations, you've been successfully desensitized. So where's the line? At what point do we stop shrugging and start caring? Is it at 5% of a population, 10%, 50%? Or do we just wait until it's bad enough for Netflix to make a documentary about it? Or watching endless rebuilding Gaza shows on Apple TV? The reality is, we don't have a number. No one does. Because the moment we put a percentage on acceptable genocide, we've already lost. The problem with percentages is that they make things look small. Just 2%. But 2% of a country is still thousands or millions of human beings. It's just that when we package it into statistics, it stops feeling real. And that's the trick, isn't it? As long as the numbers sound clinical, we don't have to feel them. As long as we call it 2% instead of 1.34 million Britons dead, it's easier to swallow. Until, of course, it's your country, your people. Then it's not a number anymore, it's a war crime. So next time someone throws around a percentage to downplay a massacre, just ask yourself, would you accept it if that 2% included you?